All right, guys, welcome to this episode where we are going to run down all the things that you need to know about Iron Flame. No. Fourth Wing. And see, look, already fucking this up. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before you read the third book within the Imperium series. So we are joined today by our awesome guest who likes to join us and cause chaos with us, Stephen Walker, with a V, not a P. And also Kathy, who's always here because, you know, it's our thing.
Howdy.
Hola. Hello. It's nice
All
to
right.
be here.
We love it when you stop by, Stephen. It's so much fun.
Hey, you know what? That's why I'm here. I'm here to bring joy to your life specifically,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
So, keeps me hanging on. Anyway, let's
Keep going.
All right, guys. If you do not want spoilers and you have not read Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, leave now because we're jumping straight into the deep end. This is not going to be a spoiler-free beginning. We're just going in hard. So
no floaties.
Yeah. No
Sinking
floaties.
straight to the bottom because none of us know how to swim either.
Take those life jackets off. Let's go.
We're diving in.
Take that long sleeve sun shirt off. Let's get some sun together.
All right. So, the beginning of this book, we follow Violet Sorengel. She's the daughter of General Lilith Sorengel, and she thinks she's going to go into the Scribe Quadrant, and her mother forces her into the Riders Quadrant, and that is where the chaos begins.
100%. Yep.
Yes.
I loved it when when she was, like struggling to get up the steps and she hurt her sister. Like it really just their little sisterly bond, it was, I don't know. It just warmed my cold little heart.
I like one of my favorite things that they say to each other is, "I don't want to be an only child." Like that's what Mira says to Violet is like, "Don't make me an only child."
Yeah. Funny. So are we gonna go right straight into her and Zayden's love triangle?
You were about to say Zaddy, weren't you?
So close.
Go into their what?
Into their relationship and all of the tension.
I mean, yeah, that happens pretty quick. Like they don't, like he puts off like he doesn't like her, but I think that happens pretty quick within the story. Like they are vibing very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But not really. I think it's a very predictable relationship, to say the least. And if we've learned anything about romantic books in general, it's that the first potential love interest is never the one that lasts. So Dane steps on the scene, and I'm thinking the whole time, this ain't lasting at all. And I think he's hated for no reason. I think the hate is not justified with this particular person. We can get into that later. But the point is, it takes a little bit for her to warm up to Zayden, but the whole time she's speaking she's using Gen Z language in the Middle Ages, and it threw the whole thing off. But all that can be fixed with the introduction of the book, where it says this manuscript the following text has been faithfully transcribed from Navarian into the modern language. So, since we have modern language with Riz and fire and Bermuda, I don't know any words, but the fact that it sounds like some kid talking kind of makes sense, just because of that little disclaimer in the beginning.
I didn't even read that, but yeah,
it might not be in the
she
thing.
is vibing.
We wouldn't know it.
In her mind, she's like hot Zayden immediately.
She says the word hot.
Yeah.
Like
I was waiting for her to say smash. And I turned to Rye and said, smash, or whatever. What's her name, Rye? Or Ree?
Ree. Yeah, Ree. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh, I love Ree's relationship. She's all free with it. She's like sleeping with this other girl, and then she was like hooking up with Sawyer, and yeah, that girl get it.
The cool thing about Rhea is just her ever steadfast friendship, to Violet. Like, even though
from the get-go.
I mean, yeah, Violet gave her a boot, which is an interesting thing, a way to start off a friendship.
A boot.
Didn't you say that?
They switched boots.
They switched boots.
when you're like me and you listen to things at 1.8 speed, you miss little details like she gave her a boot.
Yeah, so as they're walking up the stairs, well, okay, so Mira gives her the boot. She makes her take off her boot. She's like, "You have no fucking traction on these. Take those things off. You're gonna die on the parapet." And so
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yep. So when they're walking up the thing, she's like, "Let me see the bottom of your boots." And Ree shows her the bottom of her boots, and they're slick. And she's like, "All right, take off one. You're a size smaller than me. Your foot's gonna be cramped, but it's gonna save your life."
And who did this again?
Violet.
Sorengale or Violet and Ree.
Ree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's been with her since the beginning. They met on the way to the parapet,
Yes.
right?
Yep. They were like
They were with that gentleman who ended up dying instantly on the parapet. I forget his name.
Okay, but also I love that immediately they set the tone for like people's gonna die.
Yeah, and they did.
I hope that continues. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube video about things I want to see in Onyx Storm, but one of the things is important people to die, but not the important people that I really like, but just important people in general. Because I would like to continue the Game of Thrones style series that she's got going on. I think if she plays it safe in this next book, she's going to lose my interest, and I don't want that to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, especially because the way she ended Iron Flame. Like, I know that's later on down the line, and I guess we can jump around with our topics here, but when Lilith dies, when the mom dies, like, I was not expecting that. I mean, Liam was another really hard hit, but the mom totally fucking threw me off. Like,
yeah. The mom is a nice character arc because she starts off very stern. She starts off as kind of like an asshole, and you're siding with the dad, who kind of ends up being a pussy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just way more feminine, way more in his feels, way more.
I didn't mean like that. He's not. I'm not saying he's weak because he's feminine. I'm just saying like, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what? Keep going.
But I think what you're saying is that he kind of gave up. You know, like I feel like he just kind of gave up and didn't continue to fight for what was important to him. And you know, like his way of handling this was to undo the binding of the Fable storybook and stick a letter in there for her that maybe she might find it, maybe she might not. Like,
yeah, freaking Mr. Riddle is what he's the Riddler. Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak in code.
What?
Why is it that anybody who dies, and this particular person didn't come back as a ghost, but when you do come back as a ghost, every ghost or dead person feels the need to just leave vague trails rather than just spell it out right. Like I read Throne of Glass, this is off topic now, but I read the Throne of Glass series. The dead ghost people are always like, "Oh, and search underneath the rug. What's a note? Where are you going to look now?" Just tell them where are they supposed to go? That's
scavenger hunt this
yeah.
Anyway, but
there's a fan theory about the dad that I would like to talk about in a little bit. So
nice. Well, I mentioned the dad to say that, you know, you start with the liking of the father, and then you move and you kind of don't like the mom because she's forcing this upon her daughter. But the mother is doing this because she sees the strength in her daughter, and she wants to draw that out of her. She knows that she can do it, and she has to put on a hard face because she doesn't want to be accused of nepotism because she's the leader of Dragon Warts, whatever the hell it's called. And she wants Violet to succeed and not fail, but she sees the strength in her and she tries to draw that out. And then by the end, she ends up sacrificing herself, and it kind of moves the mother up just all the way up to the top tier as a character and as a mother.
I agree.
As a parent, rather.
The other thing about her that I thought was kind of cool was like she had to be a hard ass, I think, partly to Violet so that Violet would learn confidence in herself, because she didn't have any confidence in herself.
Yes.
She expected to fail.
Right.
And everybody else expected her to fail. So she had to not coddle her and, you know, kind of expect her to survive. And so I think that Violet lived up to that, you know, like she was constantly fighting against that. And it kind of got to an angry thing. Like, I'll show you, I'm going to live. I'm not going to die today. And that was like her mantra every day. But the other thing that I thought was so cool about Mama Sorengale is that you found out that she, from the beginning, she had collaborated, I guess, with Zayden to protect her throughout the whole.
Yes, that was a cool
one. Yes. And I was like,
a little plot twist toward
a little bit of a twist,
later on in the series. Mm-hmm. Did you say twat?
But what a
little bit of a twat. Twat pissed.
All right. So today we're going to talk about the twat twist on.
It's a new dance move. You've heard of the twerk. Say hello to the twat twist. Don't do it at church. Okay.
Please don't. And don't tell you we told you to do it.
But okay, so that was such a mindfuck for I keep calling her Sorrengail because I've just got okay, anyways. So for Violet, hearing that they had a deal between her mom and Zayden, like that destroyed her a little bit because her trust for him was already kind of shattering. And
I have a thing about that.
I do like how
same.
Yeah.
Get over
Quit
it, girl.
Fucking
God forbid
whining.
Someone's trying to help you. She's the why. I'm so sorry. I interrupted.
Yeah, sorry.
you,
Go ahead, Randy.
Please
No,
continue.
you're good.
Finish.
I'm over here mansplaining again. And here's why Violet femaleness is blah, blah, blah. It's like a bro podcast all of a sudden. I took an ice bath this morning. Oh, it was so good for my health. I got here in a cyber truck.
No, I was just gonna say I like how Rebecca Yaros does from her point of view, right? Because obviously all of us are like, you fucking moron. But from Violet's point of view, she is struggling so hard to trust Zayden, and she keeps having these little things that's like breaking the trust, and then all the big secrets that he's keeping. And then, but he's like, I am keeping secrets from you. He's like, there's things I can't tell you. So in a way, he's like, telling her,
yes, but
these are the secrets.
The dragons keep secrets.
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. There's a part, I believe it's in Iron Flame, but this is after she finds out about the rebellion, or she finds out that the enemies aren't really. She finds out the enemies are different, and then
the Griffin Riders.
Yeah. That's what it is. The Griffin Riders aren't the enemies. It's the
Venin.
The Venin, is that what they're called?
Venin. Yep.
I've read so many fantasy books that starts to all blur together. I'm thinking, are they Valg? Oh no, that's Throne of Glass. Oops. Okay. Venin.
Yep.
And then she goes back to Beth Skyath to hang out with Rhi and all the other people. And it specifically says she doesn't tell them the secrets. And I'm thinking, oh, you don't tell them the secrets because you want to protect them. But you get mad at Zayden when he's keeping secrets from you to protect
hypocritical. You. Very hypocritical.
And here's the difference in her character and the characters that she calls friends, is that when she finally admits those secrets to her friends don't get mad. They just say, oh, thank you for telling us. There's no anger at all. They understand. She still doesn't, even after that moment, she still gets mad at Zayden. I'm thinking, stop.
I screamed at the thing. Stop. So annoying.
So I'll go author mode on you guys here. So if she's like believed him and she was like on his side, the tension and the frustration and the anger that you guys feel towards this character when she's being blatantly stupid would not be there. The impact, the emotional impact would not be there. But with that being said, I agree with you guys.
I understand the necessity of these types of emotions when reading a book. It adds to I'm going to keep reading it because I freaking am pissed off at this character. It's like when I read the book Verity, I hated everybody in that book. I stopped being stupid, but I had to find out, do they stop being stupid? Newsflash, they don't stop being stupid, and it's all a waste of time, and we all die. That's how I felt. But I understand the necessity of that, at least emotion in said book.
I do too, but I get tired of but most of the female heroines. I understand having those emotions, but just continually bitching and moaning about it, I don't know, that drives me.
Well, you have to also understand that this person is 21, early 20s. Like this was what I would expect from young people, a young relationship, because Zayden's not like 500 years old 23. Like Rhysand. He's 23. I would expect this type of relationship, especially in the harsh conditions that they're in. They're going to have some drama. So it makes sense. And if they were like 45 and they're acting like this, why am I reading this book? First of all, if they're 45, how boring is that? I'm 45. Also, I'm going to start school. Are you? Well, I'm not going to read about it, you old fart. Not saying that anybody that's over 45 in this live is an old fart, but I'm just saying I don't want to read about you. Okay.
I do. Please, someone write that story.
About
and make it good.
The over 45-year-old in this life.
Hey, you could make it good. Maybe not like a school, maybe like a professor thing. That'd be cool. Or maybe like a late bloomer. This is a late bloomer. And if you're Fae and you're 45,
You're still young.
He's just
might
a
as well
baby.
not have, you're not even born yet. You're a fetus walking around. So you could do that. 45-year-old Fae.
Oh yeah, no. Okay, but with Zayden, oh my god, Zayden Ryerson. So he has the rebellion relic. His dad was killed in front of him. His mom left when he was born. Like, if anyone has any right to be pissed off and to have like shit just being accusing everyone, it's him, and he's not. He's everything for Violet. Like, him leaving his station to come to her, him protecting her in the ways that he does, and the forethought that he puts into stuff. He deserves the fucking title Shadow Daddy.
He totally
100%.
does. And I love, like, he supports her in, like...
I mean, he also has his own drama. Let's not get that wrong. He's not free of drama and fault. He's not perfected.
Yeah, his drama is wanting to on his throne. Like, I'm there for that drama, please. Pull me into your drama, sir.
He also has red flags, but I get what you're saying. Perhaps he's the better of the two characters, or the more mature rather than of the two characters.
Yeah, for sure. What do you see with his flaws, though, Stephen? I'd be interested from your point of view. Not having, I've got my red flags on. I've got my blinders on with him. I don't see any red flags. So
those red flags are green flags for us.
Well, my red flags would be different because my relationship wouldn't be sexual with him.
Are you
if
sure?
you will. I mean, I'm pretty sure, but never say never.
Daddy. He is the Shadow Daddy.
I like to call him Zaddy Spearmint. Here's the thing. I don't like the smell of spearmint, or mint in general. So I probably couldn't get on board with that. I'd be like, can you change your cologne, please? That's probably what I would sound like if I was chatting with him, because he's probably much bigger than I. No, I take it back. We're the same height, because she specifically says he's 6'4". I'm also 6'4". He's probably more filled out than I am.
That is really tall, by the way.
That is really
very tall.
6'4"? It's not that tall.
That's very tall.
Almost well, no, I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's over a foot taller than me. I'm 5'3".
5'2".
Almost.
That's what my driver's.
And I wear high heels, so I'm more like 6'6". So only in my room, though. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm totally kidding. Unless I'm not. What?
Okay, but seriously,
the flaws for Zaddy, if you will. I would just say his lack of trust, I guess. But it's also understandable because he's been burned in the past, and his immediate, like, whenever you meet him, he has the front of the asshole. That's a person who hasn't dealt with their stuff yet, which is a red flag. I don't want to form a relationship with somebody who hasn't gotten over, or I don't want to say gotten over, but hasn't healed from their past, because it would all just be a hindrance at that point. That's a big red flag.
That is true. That is, I definitely think that you can heal from your stuff. You can still be like, protective of yourself without being an asshole. Like, I totally agree with you on that.
I would like that person to work on themselves and be in a healthy spot before I become like a crutch or a Band-Aid to their problems. Because so the love interest of Zayden will be, what's the word? A distraction for a little bit if you're not healing, because there's that new love kind of stuff. But I would like that person to be healed, and he's not. So that's kind of a red flag. But it's understandable. It's just the timeline. It's not time for a relationship right now.
Yeah,
but
and
that's not fun to read about two healed people forming a relationship. It's very important for a story that two unhealed people get together and work that out. I want to read about that. You don't want to read about.
He has no closure from his father's death. Nothing has resolved yet in his life to really have the healing. Like, he's actively plotting with his ex-girlfriend's family to do all this other stuff, so he can't even get away from like the relationship that failed previously.
But I think that too.
Yeah, whenever you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stephen.
No, what you have to say is probably more important. Go ahead.
Not. I was just going to say that I think that he also has a tremendous amount of responsibility put on him as a 23-year-old young man who his whole life has been ruined, essentially. When he, had 107 slash marks carved in his back, and he is personally responsible for every relic marked one or whatever.
Who did the slash marks
Her
again?
mom.
Was it Violet's mom?
Her mom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lilith.
There was a lot that was confusing about these books, especially when you read it so fast. But that was confusing for me. So what was the reasoning, if you will, or if you remember? Why did she do that?
That was part of the deal of like, you take the punishment, and so instead of all of these kids getting punished, you're going to take all of their punishment in exchange for them having a slight chance of surviving in the
oh my gosh,
in the writer's quadrant
okay,
versus
I remember that.
The guaranteed chance of death.
So he took the punishment for, he's basically like a Christ figure in the story.
A little bit.
Yeah, for those, yeah. Well, and then also, like, isn't he's also the ruler of his like dominion. Like when he goes home, like he is, Master Ryerson, like he's also got that whole shit to consider too.
Yeah, because because his dad was the leader, right? Of the
I forget the name of the town. It's not Poromale.
No, Tyrandor?
Was it the town that Violet woke up in at the end of Fourth Wing after she got poisoned, stabbed by that thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna go into like when her signet manifested and she killed Jack Barlow. That one was such a good moment for me because of like that puts in your face how Dane would deal with her through that death, and then how Zayden dealt with her through that death. Like that was such a good contrast of those two characters, because Dane's like, you don't ever have to use your power again. You don't ever have to do this again. But then Zayden's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you think that her mom and all these leaders are going to allow her to have this badass power and not use it?
Yeah, because Dane never believed in her. That's the thing. Like, Dane never believed in her.
Fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. Like, her best friend was like,
In Violet? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
When there's a point, there's a specific moment in Fourth Wing where that becomes apparent, and it's when she had just got 2 dragons, right?
Yeah.
And this is like the first time, not ever, I think it was it ever, or was there
ever.
So she just got 2 dragons, and he tells her, hey, I need you to pick Andarna because she's the weakest, and they won't make you go into battle or something like that. And that right there is the immediate red flag on his part. I don't believe in you. I don't trust you. You're not going to amount to anything. So just, you're a poet, or you're not a poet. You're a scribe. You need to go to the scribe's quarter.
Yeah.
Which I understand at that point. Yeah, this is not a person that's going to champion her. This is not a good love interest for that character. And in that sense, I guess I get maybe not the hatred, but the dislike for Dane. Like you said, Kathy, he didn't believe in him. But that was the moment. That was a pivotal moment where you start shifting. I think everybody kind of from the beginning didn't feel right about Dane, but that moment specifically was a good turning point for most people.
Yeah.
There was the slow build up for sure, and then depending on your own threshold, like every reader who is reading it, like they probably dropped off Team Dane at different points, and but for sure that the lightning striking for me was holding those two characters side by side was like, not even comparable.
And Zayden, I'm sorry, real quick. Zayden, he didn't coddle her because he knew that she didn't like to appear weak. So it wasn't about anything other than she doesn't like to appear weak. So I'm going to push her beyond, like the comfort zone of, it's okay to throw up. It's okay to be blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, suck it up, Buttercup. Let's get going. And he only did that because he knew that she didn't want to appear weak to the others.
Yeah. Everybody has different ways of being motivated, but if you're at Basgiath, you can't be coddled. You will die. And I think Zayden knew that. Dane would set, if he was her mentor and love interest, if you will, he would have set her up on a path to death if she stayed in the Fourth Wing, the dragon area. But like you said, Zayden saw potential, and he spoke into that by not catering to her weakness. He brought out the strength in her. Very important, especially best guy. There may be different times in life, situations where there's coddling that could be necessary, but not here.
No.
You're going to die.
Well, I think Zayden's gentle to her in areas where it's like,
yes. Remember the gauntlet, before she did the gauntlet, she was saying to him, I'm not good enough for the gauntlet. And he says, yes, you are. Yep. He's a little bit more firm than that, but he's also kind, and he draws that out of her. Like, yes, you can do this. Remember that part?
Yep.
Are we talking about Dane or
Zayden? Yeah.
Zayden.
She has a conversation with Zayden before she does the gauntlet, and she's able to win the gauntlet. She's accused of cheating, which is absurd, but he draws that out of her. If he hadn't done that, if he would have pulled a Dane, you'll be, she would have not.
She would have died.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Because and he encouraged her, think outside of the box. Like, he knew that she had the creativity and the ways to fix the problems or conquer the problem. And so, he encouraged her to do it with however her body could do it. And that's the other thing.
And Taryn too.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. And then she did that, and she was accused of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That
was vague to me.
What was vague?
Yeah, they were both like
how she won it. I mean, how she won or maybe perhaps I don't remember properly.
She used her dagger to pull herself up. She pushed her dagger into the side of the wall, and she used that as her way to scale all the way up. And then Taryn's like, I saw the way that you climbed up that wall. You're not fucking putting a dagger into my leg to climb up me. I'll make a ramp for you.
Okay, yeah. Why would that have been cheating though? It was unconventional was the phrase I think they used.
Well, just that she brought a dagger with her. Like, in the rule book, it says that you can only bring what's on your person, and you can only use what like you as a writer. And in the codex, it says that when you cross the parapet, everything that you're carrying with you is considered an extension of your body. So she's like, loophole, technically, this is a part of my body. It's an extension of my body.
So it's like the whole the Tri-Wizard Tournament Task 1, where Harry was allowed a wand but not a broom, but he used his wand to call his broom, at least in the movies.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I have to bring some Harry Potter references in because
conveniently written.
I have to.
The other thing that I loved about Zayden and how he really did care about her as a person and wanted to help her become her best self was he had the knives made special for her body type, for her hands and what she could handle. Do you remember that when they were sparring? And
yes, she was given knives by him that would make yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and those were the runes that could kill Venin. Weren't they made with the
No,
I can't remember
there were only 2 of those.
That wasn't it.
Her mom had one.
No. That was
But they had the runes etched in them. So it was the Tyranish runes, I think, etched in it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that material from Game of Thrones that killed the White Walkers.
Yeah.
About, what was that stuff?
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone or Dragon Glass?
Dragon Glass. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
That's exactly where my mind went to.
Yeah, I was like, it's probably not that.
Okay, but speaking of Venin, towards like the last quarter of the book, or almost towards the very end, she crosses over into that territory. The Venin come, and then she's like, "Holy shit! All my fairy tales that I heard as a child are real."
Yeah, in book 1.
Like, I think she did a good job of not broadcasting that was the case, right? Like, it's like, oh, these are cool fairy tales, this is cool myth, holy fuck, they're real. Like, I at least was not expecting that. It's
like in Harry Potter, right? In the 7th novel or the 7th movie, where they're talking about the Deathly Hallows, and it turns from a bedtime story to a reality that they must search for. Huh?
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah. Let's keep doing it. Let's see. There's number 2. Let's see how many we can get to.
I can find a Harry Potter reference for anything. I just refrain from it. I practice personal discipline because my therapist says that's probably valuable. I'm kidding. I don't go to therapy.
Oh shit!
Not that he doesn't think that therapy is valuable for all of you people that are maybe.
No, that was just a joke about how I'm insane because I don't go to therapy. Therapy is very important.
Okay.
It's what gives you your bubbly
So
personality.
we're in well, first we have to talk about how Dane very sneakily, I had to think about when was it that he stole her memories, because he touched her face a couple times. And so I had to think about that, like
it was right before she left to go to
the
wherever she
author
went.
set that up great by having him constantly touch her face, that when it happened,
You don't know.
you didn't think
Because
any
it couldn't
difference.
happen
Oh,
right
I thought it
before
was
they
very
left.
apparent when it happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
not for
'cause
me.
He touches her face right before they
No, but-
left.
But that
Yeah.
was not when he stole her memories.
But he did that a
that a
lot.
lot because
I know, but it was that was one that stuck out the most. Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe that's the one moment I remembered the most. But for some reason, that part stuck out, which made me think that was when. Because I think it even says that later. That's
Yeah,
when
it
he
does.
stole my memories.
But the thing
right?
is that he had to have done it before that, because the whole illusion of the war games was already set when he did that. Like
Yeah,
he
that
had
was like
already,
as they were about to leave.
yeah,
Don't leave.
yeah, because clearly
He was, like,
they
begging her
had
not to go.
set them up.
Well, I don't think that they set Violet up. I think they were setting Ryerson up, and he got the memories from Violet in that moment. But I think that they were setting, because she was choosing to go with him, and Dane was like, "Don't go, please don't go."
But I think that he got those memories before they had to. He had to have get them. Yeah, he had to have gotten them prior to that touch, because that's how they knew that they had gone to Athben, and that's how they knew to set them up.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like we said, he touched her a lot, like on her face, and whenever he was like telling her to show him the memories of Amber, he was like, "You were just gonna go forward and you were just gonna take my memories. You weren't even asking. You were just reaching for my face."
I didn't
So
ask.
it makes sense.
And she's like, "No, motherfucker,
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't."
there's a point in most romantasy books where the previous love interest does something that doesn't have the consent of the main protagonist, and this was one of those moments.
Yeah, the unredeemable.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a freaking hair, and I keep.
Is it tickling your nose? I hate that when it happens.
Yeah.
Which is a big red flag, is if you do something without consent, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, so I think that it didn't, when the words that he said, because he said, "I'm going to miss you," like, it didn't click with her what he was saying, because he knew at that point, he knew what was happening.
Dane?
Yeah.
Well, do we want to go into depth about Dane?
Yes, we absolutely do.
Because I think his character arc is good thus far, and I think he may even play a more pivotal role in the future. And it's the same thing I think about Tamlin. Tamlin has a little bit more trauma than Dane does, and that's obviously a different series, but similar idea.
I agree.
Dane is the person that people hate, but he's also the person that gave up the school to go to Dragonwarts 2 to train with everybody. And he's serving under the person that is now with the girl that he still loves.
Yeah.
That's not a small thing, unless he's like trying to slither his way in. But I don't get that vibe at all. He's just trying to accept it, and he's trying to do what's best for people.
No,
I think here's what happens. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. He redeemed himself a lot in my eyes by the end of the second book.
Here's what happens: is now I forgot what I was gonna say. Dadgummit, I'm sorry.
You're good.
It was so important, but not important enough to remember. Apparently.
No, you were talking about how Dane had sacrificed like what his aspirations were, because he was going to be very successful at best.
Oh, that's what it was. So here's what. Yeah. So here's what happens: is there's the initial love interest who's not fit for the main chick in the book, and because he's not fit for the main chick, it comes across as him being a bad person. People hate him. But it's difficult for people to read those books and just say, "Oh, he's not a bad person necessarily. He's just not a good fit for the person that I like, which is the main character." And it's hard for people to put that in their minds. Oh, I want him to be successful with who he is supposed to be with, even though maybe Tamlin, maybe Dane has done some stuff that is not good. We can hate those things, but still root for the person themselves.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think that's a hard thing for most readers to do.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I'm wrong in that. but it seems that way because I don't understand the absolute hatred for Dane unless you have readers that come out of a relationship that have been with a person like that and it's traumatizing and it brings up old memories. I would understand it from that point of view, I guess. But generally
regardless
speaking,
of the fact that you haven't gone to therapy, that's a very therapeutic thing to say, right? Because like you have to really kind of, like you said, be looking at it from a more healed position, because if it's triggering anything for you where someone betrayed you or someone did something like that or whatever, it is going to make it so much easier to slip into that hate zone.
Yeah. I truly believe that a well-written fiction book can teach you more about life and your own life specifically than any sort of nonfiction book ever could. Because you identify with certain characters and you hate certain characters. And when you find those moments, you should pinpoint them and say, oh, this applies to my life. Why does it apply to my life? And how does it apply to my life? And how can I change myself based on that?
I agree.
I'm clipping that. That was fucking good. Jesus, Steven. All right, so we're going to change the name of this to
It's the
Book Talk
wine.
Therapy. No, that is such a good point, though. Like, okay, so I have a question for you on that to dive just a little bit deeper. If you're reading a book and you start to get triggered by it, is that something where you start looking at, like, what is it that's triggering me about this character or this book or this situation?
Yeah. Well, in the moment, it's an emotional thing. So you'd have to gain perspective, and that happens after the read. So it's more something you remember rather than something you experience, because you experience the feeling and you shut down, or you get angry, or you have your reflexive response. So it's usually after the fact, but hopefully you remember it. That's the thing. Unless you get to a point where you can immediately notice, okay, I feel this and I'm going to sit and I'm going to soak in this. I'm going to figure it out. That's easier said than done. And some days are easier than other days.
And that might be, I mean, if you can't if you can't gain perspective after that, like after, reading and then thinking about, well, why did that make me so upset? Like, if you can't,
well, most people don't have the tools to do that. They don't know that it's like it's not, they don't think it's something calling out from them. They just see, oh, I don't like this person. And then they move on.
Yeah.
They don't have the tools. They don't have the ability to say, oh, perhaps there's something wrong with me. So what I do just generally in life is, if something bothers me, like if I get offended by something, I really do step back and say, okay, why does this offend me? Is it because of the person or is it because of me? And what I find the majority of the time is it's a character flaw on my part. Because if I was healed up and good to go, that thing that they said or did probably wouldn't have affected me as much.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. And not to get too far into the therapy talk, but as I was going through a lot of self-work, that was one of my favorite things, was to get triggered, because that's literally a roadmap to where I need to do the work.
Exactly. So that's like something that, for lack of a better term, God puts his finger on something, like something that hurts in you. And it comes up as offense. And so you oh, that hurts. Why does it hurt? Well, that's a place in me that needs to be healed.
You're bleeding everywhere.
Yeah. I need to be healed in this spot of my life. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Stop it.
Back to the book.
Oh yeah, that was freaking hilarious. He's like, quit doing the bodily function now.
I don't remember that part. What was that part?
It was when no, it was when, wasn't it when she defended Andarna? When they first met.
Her hands were fucked up and cut and bleeding everywhere
because of the gauntlet. Yeah, he was like, "You're bleeding. Stop it."
Who said that? Taryn or Zayden? We haven't even talked about Taryn, and it's tearing up my heart right now. In the words of NSYNC. Right? We should talk about him, but I don't want to get you all off track of where you were headed.
We are not on a track.
We went into a therapy session that hopefully was helpful to some rando out there, but
I marked it, so if it's not, we're gonna make clips of it, so no one even has to read through all the rest of this. They can just get that good shit.
Get that good shit. I came for that good shit. You ever heard that song by Kenny Chesney, "The Good Stuff"?
Yes.
I walked into a bar. I want the good stuff. I'm thinking whiskey. He hands me a glass of milk and talks about his family. I'm like, that's that good shit.
That's what you get here at L3. The good shit.
That's that good shit.
Yeah, no, that's Taryn 100%. He's that good shit all the way through. I I love how just uh Violet is the epitome of not a strong character in the beginning. She is
Yes.
literally her joints subluxate, and like she's just weak and has her strongest thing is literally her mind.
Yeah.
And Taryn's like, you are the strongest person that I have ever met. Not ever met, but like he's like building her up to this fucking badass person.
Taryn is like S tier, top tier rather, in terms of characters, because he even sees that in her.
Yeah.
But like you said,
whenever they do the saddle for her, she's like, no, I don't want. He's like, you deserve to be in your seat more than any other fucking writer here. Do not
Put
argue
your
with
fucking
me.
ass on my back right now.
Like
in the saddle.
Yeah.
Saddle up, fuckaroo.
They have very good banter, and he's also like the tough love character, and it makes for very good dialogue between the two.
But he had even like a cool character arc, right? Because
Taryn?
Yeah, because they had
Sorry, I was fluffing my hair. Go ahead.
Because they had kept from her what Zayden and the other kids were doing from her because of his bond, and she was so hurt by that. And Andarna was like, "We know we didn't lie," and she's like, "You lied by omission. Like that's the same thing." And Taryn was like, "She's right, and I'm not going to do it again." And so I thought that was like such a great character arc for this hundreds-year-old, badass.
Right? He's because like the mindset of a dragon is like dragon knowledge is none of your fucking business. So even if I didn't tell you, who cares? And he's like, no.
Even from the get-go, like the immediate the moment she bonded with him, like he could have let her fall. And he didn't.
Yep.
He kept catching her. I don't know how many times he did. It may have been once, it may have been more than once, but
yeah, it was just
the idea that doesn't and I think they made that clear in the book. They don't, if you fall off your dragon, you die, because they don't give a shit about you.
Literally, as soon as she landed, she sees someone falling off their fucking dragon.
And they die. Yeah. Because they don't matter to the plot of the story, obviously, but it's no, I don't want to bring that. It's a different book. Sorry. Stay on track here. But yeah, the fact that Taryn he has that fae love knowledge. He's like the Rhysand of the book without the sex, because that would be bestiality, and we're not really a fan of that unless it's a bat boy. Come on, somebody.
Unless it is about that, no.
Unless it's a book, it does. You can't get in trouble if it's written down. Anyway, Jesus Christ, help us all. He has the good knowledge. That really brings out his character. Initially, you're like, I like this dragon. And that's a very important thing for that specific character.
Yeah.
Well, and also his relationship with Andarna and
Andarna's a whole other conversation, my friend.
Yes, Sigale.
Yes, she is.
I'm so excited about Onyx Storm right now. You have no idea. Just talking about this.
But like, okay, I've never been so excited and in love with a dragon relationship, right? Like the way that Sigale snaps at him, and he's just like this patient, like omnious fucking dragon who's also taking care of a teenager.
Sigale is Zayden's dragon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
just putting the names together.
Yeah. Or mate, sorry.
Oh, that word's been burned out by freaking Akatar. My mate looked at me. Oh, did he? Why don't you call him by his name?
Yeah.
I don't know why that bothers me so much.
I mean,
that's something.
Hey,
That's a wound. There's a trigger.
There's a trigger.
What's going on? Let me just take a pause here and figure it out.
Steven doesn't like pet names.
You know what?
Write that down, Steven.
That's probably what it is. And I can think about things in my past. I've been called things, and I hated them. Wow.
That'll be $500.
We are learning together in a safe space, Kathy.
Yes, we are.
That's actually true. That's interesting. I'm gonna meditate on that later. Dive into it.
All right, let us know what you come up with. Next episode, we'll be talking about that.
Yeah.
We should write a book.
Okay,
we should write a book.
A fucking ancient dragon. Oh my god.
The book would have no structure. The end would be the beginning, and the beginning would be the middle, and the middle would be the contents.
It would be so good.
People would be dumber after they read it, even though what we had to say was wise.
Right, if they clipped little sections out, we'd fool people. Like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then they go
Have
to
you
read it
read-
and they're like, it's like one of those trailers for a
That is
really
the
good
best
movie.
quotes. Yeah, the trailer for the movie is like the best part of the movie because it's only the good parts of the movie. And you watch the movie, you're like, oh, I should have just watched the trailer again because the rest of the movie is shit.
Hey, you just summed up our book. We ain't even gotta write it.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Andarna.
I was just
but wait,
yeah,
before we get
Andarna.
to Andarna, I do want to
Everyone's got shit they're thinking of.
before we get to Andarna, I want to talk about the arc that Violet goes through with
Arc of what? The arc?
yeah, the character arc.
Okay,
Her
gotcha.
character arc.
I was like, Noah?
You're
What
muted,
animals?
or you
She took
know we're
2
talking
of
about
each
books,
dragons
right?
on the arc. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My mind is elsewhere.
I guess so. No, so how she, because when she threw the daggers at Twat Face, what's his name?
Twat face. That was my nickname in college. Thanks for bringing up that memory. And it wasn't for a good reason.
I'm gonna just put this down. I'm done drinking for the rest.
Oh my god.
Oh, let's do a spit take. Here we go. I'm kidding.
What's his name?
I've had
Jack.
Him.
Jack. I like to call him.
Found the first
I like to call
face
him
in this
Jack
book.
Harlow. In my videos, I call him Jack Harlow. So whenever he pops on the scene, he says, "What's poppin'?"
What's poppin'? But see, now when
Like
you
Jack,
do it,
that
you're gonna
singer?
think of
Nah,
Twat Face.
nah. I hope not, but if it happens,
You'll be blaming me in your life.
I'll let it be organic, if you will. Credit to
twat.
Kathy. All I picture is a twat on his face, which is not good for anyone involved
No, not at
in
all.
this context.
Anywho, so her when she, because she didn't throw to kill him, she threw to disable him
Yeah.
because she didn't want to be a
Until
killer.
she threw a mountain on top of him.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be a killer. She didn't want to be
Yeah.
that. And I don't even know. I think it's a strengthening of her inner fortitude, I guess. When she then does kill him, when she gets her signet.
But it breaks her. That's what I was talking about earlier. When she discovers her power and she kills Jack, that's where she breaks down. And Dane is like, you don't ever have to do it again. And
Lightning digits, right?
Yep. So, but also, I don't know if it's a character growth that she's like, I won't kill anyone, and then she kills.
Well, that's
people.
what I'm saying.
That's
It wasn't necessarily a character growth, but she became, she became more, fortified in herself. She
became the
she
monster
did what
she
she
was
needed to
afraid
do
of.
That's another book,
right? to
the monster
to stand up for herself and for to protect herself and her friends.
Yeah, and Brennan warns them about that in the book. He's like, Violet's not going to be able to kill someone, so we've got to make sure she doesn't go into the fucking writer's quadrant.
Oh, the Brennan is another conversation.
We will get there.
My favorite part about him as a character is when he was slapped by his sister. I was like, "You freaking go, girl! Come on."
Yes. Okay, but that's kind of where we're at.
Andarna,
we're kind of getting into the
Andarna
Brennan
first.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So can I mention
Yes.
this about just dragons in general, since we're on the subject of
Yes.
Taryn? I don't know if y'all were the same, but whenever I started reading, whenever Taryn spoke, immediately I was like, "Oh, this is corny. The dragons talk. This is absurd." But eventually, it wasn't. When I got to know Taryn more, and then the fact that he wasn't talking like, "Oh, I'm a dragon." Like if you made a movie, you had to put peanut butter in the dragon's mouth. It was more like down the Bond Akatar style. I liked that. I don't know how you'd make a movie about that, but
there has been a movie made about it. Do not watch it. It's called Aragon, and it's so badly done.
It's
but
not
those
about
books,
that. Oh, was that in those books?
Well, so Saphira talks to him through the mental link,
and it's weird.
Yeah. Well, it's not a weird, I have a different take on that because I grew up reading books where the dragons communicate through the mental link. So that wasn't something that was off-putting for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that was new to me because I don't have a whole lot of stock in dragons.
Well,
in terms of books,
it wasn't new
and
to me.
communication
I
with
mean,
them.
specifically, with dragons too, because Jennifer Armentrout's series from Blood and Ash, like that happens with not only the dragons who are bonded, but also the Wolven can do that too.
Yeah, but did y'all feel that? Well, okay, so you wouldn't because you had a run in the past with down the bond dragons. But to me,
But it's okay for you to feel it. Tell us how it happened for you.
It just felt corny, and so at first, the dragons talk. This is weird, and then eventually it kind of got used to it, and it personalized the dragons because in my head, I think I had just come out of House of the Dragon, so I pictured the dragons as just these beasts rather than these conscious entities that can think and be philosophical. I can't even talk. Be philosophical. Philosophize. Thank you. No, it's the philosophizer. But so I had to change my opinion about dragons and lean more toward the Dragon Tales side of it rather than the Game of Thrones side of it, and then find a healthy balance. So,
was there a specific line or a specific scene that you can remember where it where it went away, or you said it was just like a gradual thing?
I think it was gradual, and it was specifically the dialogue that Taryn had with Violet, just the sarcasm or the banter in general, and then the tough love and all that. He just kind of won me over. And then Andarna, I liked her. Oh, we'll get to her in a second. Go ahead.
No, Kathy. I was going to say that one of my favorite lines that he said was when she first went out onto the mountain to practice the very first time, her signet with Professor Carr, and she's trying to remember, the emotions or whatever, pull that up to do the zappy thing with her, signet. And he was like, shall I get the wing leader? And like the sarcastic, I know what you were doing. Thing. Yeah.
I love sarcasm in general.
That was hilarious. I laughed.
I latch on to characters that have a tendency to be sarcastic, predominantly because I myself am sarcastic, and so I can identify with them. But yeah, that was good stuff. Have you're so specific. Have you done a reread, or is this just all from memory?
No, I did a reread.
We
listened, yeah.
How recently?
I am on the first book of Iron Flame, so I just did both. But I did
the first book of Iron Flame.
So we did the
dramatized.
Dramatized?
The graphic audio. Sorry, the graphic audio.
Oh,
it's
the movie in your mind.
Good, actually. Movie in your mind. These. I haven't liked it for any other ones, but I really like it with these.
Okay. Yeah. Did the voice actors do a good job then?
And also the spicy scenes.
Far better.
They are moaning. They are like...
You gotta take them to the bathroom and pretend your kids don't exist kind of a thing?
No, I'm sitting there watching Shrek just...
All of a sudden, I think Shrek is sexy. Perhaps it's what I'm listening to. I'd love to have those mushroom ears. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I imagine like in movies where they're like explicit, like, oh, there's going to be a sex scene that you have. They probably had to do that with the narrators because it is intense for the dramatized or however the fuck you say that word.
Everybody fell in love after it was all recorded.
But I think too, because the first book, Fourth Wing, for the regular narration, there was a lot of complaints about the female narrator only because she was sick, I think, when she recorded that.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Literally, I could hear her breathing, and I almost DNF'd for the first version, the first audiobook version of Fourth Wing because of that.
Wow, I listened to I didn't listen to you're talking about the graphic audiobook specifically?
No. The first version that ever came out of the audiobook, the girl that narrated it was sick in the first like almost half of the book. And so you can kind of hear her like her breath after she says a word, and like it's like my son was like, "Mom, what is wrong with her?" on the parts that I could listen to in the car out loud.
Yeah.
Which is none of it.
between the
walking up the stairs, that was it.
Yeah.
right.
The very first page, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Not even that. It's probably the thanks in the beginning. I dedicate this book to my whatever. Oh, that was a good time, wasn't it, kids?
Yeah. So I did do a reread of the first one. I'm on Iron Flame right now. Just
Yeah, the narrator is very important if you're doing an audiobook. I don't remember exactly. I think mine came from Spotify, and it was. But here's another thing.
well, the narrator is going to be the same no matter where it is.
Yeah.
As far as the regular narration goes.
There's not going to be a different narrator that narrates it from Spotify
Audible.
versus Audible.
Oh, I thought you meant like they re-released it. It didn't bother me because again, I listened to it so fast.
But she did actually. I think she did re-record. She did have her re-record. I think the first.
Maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. So it was Rebecca Solar, which I really don't think she did a terrible job just during when she was sick.
No,
you know?
She kept me hooked.
And then Teddy Hamilton, of course. Yeah, I like Teddy. What's not to like about Teddy Hamilton?
He's so attractive, isn't he? I don't even know what you're talking about. Here's something I was reminded of today. The first book came out in 2023. We're not talking about books from the early 2000s or even 2015 or something like that. These just came out and we're already on book 3. Props to Rebecca Yaros. She's pumping them out. I saw a TikTok video that said that she may be taking a mental health break and not get around to book 4 for a while, which may mean 2027. Is that actually what's happening?
That's what I heard. Yep. 2027 was when the next one will release.
Which is only 2 years. Which is honestly...
Okay, if we want to talk about that, let's talk about George R.R. Martin, okay? If we want to get pissy about someone not finishing a fucking book.
Not even that. The King Killer Chronicles with The Name of the Wind. What's it? Patrick Rothfuss? What's his name? Rothfuss? You know what it's about? No?
Nope.
Okay. Well, there's going to be 2 people out there, specifically 2. You know who you are. The Name of the Wind
angry with you.
has 2 books. Book 2 leaves off on a cliffhanger. Book 3's never coming out. Okay? Similar to Game of Thrones. We just have to deal with the shitty ending that with the people that made this stupid movie film thing TV series decided to go with, which is horrible.
Yeah. Let's slam 3 fucking seasons into one season. And
not even that. I was fine with the second to last episode because I was fine with her going crazy. Jon Snow not mattering at all. Just why? Oh, I remember when he was a Targaryen.
Night King not having being killed in like 5 seconds.
Well, that was cool. I liked how Arya Stark was the one.
It was cool how it happened. It was so quick, though.
Yeah, that whole episode was filmed through a potato, though. It was nothing. You couldn't see anything. Oh, I love looking at a blank screen and hearing things happening. Remember that?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to 4th Wing.
We're still on Andarna. We need to go to Andarna.
Andarna. I don't know.
All right, tell us your take on Andarna.
Yeah, Stephen, you start.
Andarna starts off the weak character, and then in book 2, she has her pot-smoking teenager phase. But she starts off in a coma, or she broke her upper dorsomix or something like that, and she can't really do anything. But I think at the end of the book, she becomes this is so important for the next book, and I hope we hear more of it, but she becomes the 7th dragon, not becomes, but we discover that she's the 7th dragon type, right? Which has a name. I don't remember what it is though, but it's an unknown
purple
thing.
One.
Yeah, she can. Yeah.
It is purple. That's so important because I made fun of that detail.
I have not listened to that part of it yet.
I made fun of that detail in the beginning where it says she was so black that she looks purple. I remember thinking, then she's purple, you moron. But I thought that was just crappy writing, but it actually is very important. Little nuggets like that you shouldn't make fun of until you read the whole book.
No, authors are like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
The other thing that was so cool about her.
I do like Andarna though.
Yeah, I really like her. Now
I want some coffee. Y'all are drinking
coffee.
Go get some. I'll have this cheap. Well, if I do, then I'm not coming back. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I may hear in a second. Whatever y'all want.
Just let us know. We can pause.
Or just keep talking and just don't pan to me.
No, it's fine. We'll pause. I can't remember where she said this, and it might have been after she wakes up as the cranky teenager and they go back to Basgaev, and at some point didn't she say to Violence that she waited for her for 500 years?
Yes,
Right?
at the end
I
of
want to.
something.
Am I
This
thinking
is
about
book
this
2
correctly? I
specifically.
think that I am.
Yeah.
I heard that recently, so you're not just thinking of nothing. That was said in something that I watched or read previously from this moment.
And there, okay, so the series is called the Imperium, which is the Dragon Council.
Is that
so
on
like
here anywhere?
On where? Is what on where?
It should be towards the bottom. It's like the Imperium book 1.
It's not on here. This is
It's not on Fourth
Iron
Wing.
Flame book. This is all the Iron Flame version, so you'd think it'd be here.
It's not on Fourth Wing either.
Huh. Maybe that's just more of a conversation piece rather than something written down.
I could have sworn that's what, like, okay, so you know how like a series is like the overarching series is called something, but
no,
then, like,
I know.
book 1
I've
something,
heard the
book 2
Imperium
something.
series too, but I'm just trying to find it.
And it's usually on
That's
the
so odd.
book.
Oh my gosh, or is that one thing happening? The Mandela effect? Is it happening right now?
The Mandela effect.
She does.
So on the Audible, I don't
On
think
the
you can see
Audible,
it. No,
yeah.
it's not gonna
Not when you hold it up into the camera.
I can't. It's right here at the bottom, but you can't read it because my camera is not going to focus on it. Yeah. So
How
Imperium
convenient.
book
The
1.
thing you're talking about, we can't see, but you can. I'm kidding around. It says the Imperium series.
Yeah.
You have the trust me bro vibes going on right now.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not on the specific copies that I have, but it's the Imperium series. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm thinking, like, especially for book 3, I imagine it's going to either get into it or everything is like behind the curtains being pushed by dragons and something going on behind the curtain with the Imperium.
And what is the Imperium?
That's the ruling, the council of the dragons.
Which
it's like it's their council.
Oh, okay. Because this is like a new thing. Oh, go ahead.
Whenever both of the dragons pick Andarna, they have to go, like, the dragons go into the Imperium Council and discuss like whether or not they can have more than one dragon.
Yeah, there's this whole thing in book 2 about how the dragon, well, I guess from the beginning, the dragons don't answer to people. That's why they can kill them. Yeah. But then they
I think that there's something with the... Well, there's fan theories about the dragons having something to do with the Venin because they know about the Venin, but they're reluctant to get involved.
Well, they have the
and they're
wyvern.
Also like, yeah. But they're also like safeguarding and housing their nest, which is where all the eggs are. And there's fan theories about what if the dragons are secretly kind of involved in that.
Interesting.
Well,
because
go ahead.
The Venin are the evil versions of the dragons. I know Kathy's going to yell at me for calling Venin dragons, but here we are. But they're the evil
wyvern.
Dragons.
I don't give a shit what
the wyvern are the evil ones.
That's technical.
The Venin are the riders.
Yeah, but they use the Venin, or they use the wyvern, wyvern, whatever, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Rather than just dragon.
But I think that because in the beginning of all of this, because that's what Violet is trying to research, right? The original 6, because that's right, and the whole thing starts the fable lore is that there were 3 brothers, right? Am I right about that?
This is Deathly Hallows is what you're talking about.
And so,
or the lore.
There was once 3 brothers.
So there was the one who
found the invisibility cloak.
The one, and I can't remember
Elder
all
Wand
the different. Like, there's 3 different ones though, and one is the one that just
I don't even remember this.
I don't remember it either.
There was the one brother who drew the magic from the ground. There was the other brother who met with a dragon, with the dragon council or whatever, bonded with them, and they were, but I can't remember what the other brother did. Oh, maybe it was the one that went with the fuzzy things.
Puffskins?
Yeah. What are they?
The feather shells?
No.
The griffins.
Yeah.
The griffins. Yeah.
I can't remember what the other, but I think that with that one. But 2 for sure were the one.
I'm gonna have to go and read that. I forgot about that.
Interesting.
And so there is definitely something.
That probably has
because Taryn says, when they do all this, when they're first fighting at where are they?
Biscayeth?
No. The during the war games was
Athpeth?
Aspen? Whatever.
don't know.
That place.
I don't know the name.
Yeah, I'm pulling different book names out of my head right now.
Athbean.
The thing about these books is there's
Athbean.
so many names and
Athbean.
titles and places. It's hard to just remember it off the top of your head.
Yeah, Athbean.
Unless you're a
Yeah.
super stan, which is hard to do in 2 years.
I got notes.
I don't have notes. But so he told her, because they were communicating with the why can't I remember the fuzzy things? What did you just call them?
Puffskin?
The Griffins.
The
Griffins. Yeah. So they can communicate because they, before all of this happened, they were all friends. Right? I think they fought against the Wyvern and that's my theory. But he did say for sure that they can talk to each other.
Yeah. Didn't he say it was different? Didn't they say that it was like colors? They showed more like colors, or like they communicated a little bit different. It wasn't exactly like dragons. Or I think I might be pulling from another book on that.
I don't remember that. I mean, he could have, but I don't remember that.
Yeah. Okay, so end of book 1, they find out Brennan's alive, that there's this whole fucking rebellion going on in Poramil, isn't that? No. What is the name of that?
Is it Poramil or is it Taryn?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Or is it?
Anyways,
Either or.
The town that Zayden is living in and owns and is the governor of.
Now I want to know.
The name of it?
Okay.
It's not Navarre.
No, that's where they
live.
live.
No, that's where
That's where Biscayeth is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I don't have it in my notes anywhere.
Tyrandor.
I just have it there at war
Tyrandor.
with Poramil.
Right.
Tyrandor. Okay. Oh yeah, because all of the religion or the stuff that was forgotten because they are
ruins. Runes.
Yep. And the runes help them do amplify stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, Tyrandor.
Yeah, so they find out Brennan's alive. Now they have to go back to Biscayeth and pretend like they don't know, and pretend like Venin are not a real thing, and like you said earlier, like lie to all her friends that she doesn't know what's going on. That was interesting to read and I wanted to fucking shake her. Like, oh my god, is this frustrating?
Did you cry when Liam died though?
I actually felt she wrote that character death very well.
I cried on the second read. Like I was in the airplane bawling.
There's select few people that can write a good character death. She's one of the people that apparently can.
It was good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was so protective of her, and there for a minute I was like, oh, is this gonna be like a little side thing for her? Because whenever Taryn and Segale were like mating and whatnot, and she was like getting all the emotion, she walks out and runs smack dab into Liam, and I was like, oh fuck.
Let's see a smash scene.
And I was
then she completely squelched that when she said, "But he's not who I want."
Yeah, they had like a Harry and Hermione relationship, if you will.
Yeah. Now, I liked Liam. I loved the way that he he was so protective of her, but also he was so loyal to Zayden. Yeah. That was also a good, it's not like I'm going to fuck you over for the girl situation, right? Because I think that Liam had a definite crush on her.
Do you?
Maybe. He had his bro code outweighed it though.
Oh, yep, 100%.
I did not get that
I felt
at
like
all. I always felt like
I don't think it was like heavy.
No, I always felt like
there may
it
have been
was a
some
brother
attraction there.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can never have a truly brother-sister relationship, but maybe there was some attraction. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I think that there was slight attraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just my take.
I mean, if she was an ugly ogre, he probably wouldn't have had anything to do with her. That's my point.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, I'm going to protect you.
Okay, yeah, whatever. So the other
if she had Shrek ears and was green, oh yeah, go die. So good luck. He's not going to be very protective.
But he comes back.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I just probably offended a bunch of people. My bad. I'm sorry.
But he comes back when she's being tortured. Do you remember that?
Oh, I
Yes.
forgot about. Yep.
That's my favorite part of the whole series.
That also made
And
me cry, not because of her torture, but because of him.
I comedically bring up Harry Potter references. I'm not going to do that right now, but I am going to bring up a Harry Potter reference that reminds me of it. So the big question in that scene was, is this really happening? Or is this just a mental thing, right? But I'm reminded in movie 8 of Harry Potter, where this is right after Voldemort kills Harry and he goes to the train station in the sky in Dumbledore's. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Dumbledore's there. And Harry says, is this all real or is it just happening in my mind? And Dumbledore says, of course it's happening in your mind. Why should that mean it's not real? And I feel that, and I place that into the story, but I want to cry right now. Place that into Iron Flame when she's talking to Liam, just because even if it is happening in her head, it doesn't mean it's not real.
Right.
So perhaps there's an upcoming thing where she can do this again with Liam specifically, because I think Liam has lasting effects on the series.
I agree. We're not going to see the last of Liam for sure.
Well, so there's a fan theory that Violet's next power is to commune with the dead.
Yep. I thought that too. Somebody recently pointed out that on the third book, it says that they need the truth and only Violet can provide the truth. So that further illustrates the idea, or further drives in the idea that perhaps her signet is truth saying, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just the writer playing with people's minds, which may be a thing. Because I know they look at fan theories and they either use them or they cater to them enough to where it's not them at all, and it just confuses everybody. I hope it's communicating with the dead. That'd be very interesting for this for the story. It also may be a big plot hole, like when you introduce the Time Turner in book 3 of Harry Potter. Come on. I'll stop.
No, I hope he does come back, because he, like you said, she's built him up to be such a character that we care about. Also, this might just be us wanting him back, right? Like, so that might be our own emotions playing into it.
Maybe, but I wouldn't care necessarily if he hadn't already come back. That was a very that's not in there for no reason. It can't be. She's too good of an author just to place that randomly. Like, there's a reason he specifically came back.
Right. Why wasn't it her memories of Zayden? Or why wasn't it
exactly.
an illusion of
It could have been Zayden.
Yeah.
It could have been anybody. Dad. Well, she didn't know her dad very well, right?
Yeah.
No. Well,
she had nothing to go off.
Her and her dad were like, her and her dad were like hanging out in the scribe quadrant and in the library.
That's a good point,
like,
though.
Her and her mom were more distant.
It was that's a good point. Oh. It was a person that was dead, not alive.
Do you think her mom is
interesting?
Venin? Because do you remember the one point?
Her mom is dead.
Well, that's true, but
her mom sacrificed herself to eliminate the Venin. So no. But to answer your question before you even ask it, no.
But I would be interested what got you to that point, though.
Because she specifically remembers a time when, and then they say that, she was scared of her mom because her eyes were red.
Oh, yeah. I guess she was stayed up late. Okay, so what if her dad is the sage? Because they do talk about like him having the heart attack and him like, just suddenly not being there. But also, if he was so hell-bent on knowledge and all of this information, and then he finds out he can also have power to potentially, take care of things, which I'm guessing with this relationship, right? If you have this dominant woman who just is fucking powerful and you're the scribe, and you're like, I can only help through knowledge, I bet you he'd be like, if I could take the power to save my family and to do all this, yeah, fuck it, let's do the Venin route.
But
because the sage knows a lot of stuff about her family.
So are you saying he's deceptive?
The sage? What? Who?
Her dad? Yeah.
I think
like he's a Ravenclaw with some Slytherin attributes, if you will. I won't say that, but I'm sure some people would say that.
Well, he might not have been deceptive when he went into it. He might have been like, okay, I'm doing this to help, but then when you become Venin, your humanity might get stripped away, or the reasons why you started down this path might start to change.
I'm learning in real time. I truly need to do a reread of this series so I can find these little nuggets.
The other thing that so when
I may start that tomorrow, actually.
When Zayden turned.
Because I feel stupid right now. I'm sorry.
When Zayden turned.
That's a fan theory.
Oh, okay. Oh,
No,
fans suck most of the time, don't they? We suck.
That was out there.
We suck.
But when Zayden turned, and which I thought there was a couple of points in that I thought was super cool. Taryn was actually very like, don't jump to conclusions. Don't don't judge. He was very like kind of protective of Zayden, but also that relationship, which I thought was kind of cool, right? Because he'd been wanting to eat him like up until then.
Right. Yeah.
Eat
and then
Zayden?
okay.
Zaddy, if you will.
So another reason why it could be her dad, the sage, is because the sage talks to Violet about doing crazy things for love. Like they will go the places you will go for love and the things you will do for love. That is another reason why I think that the sage might be the dad, Sorengale's dad.
Okay, so I'm looking at your notes here, and this is what you're talking about. This is under key questions for Onyx Storm. It says, "Who is the sage?" And we're talking about potentially it's the father. What does the sage do? And why are we asking the question? Who is the sage? Is there only one?
He's the teacher.
Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the sage is the Venin, the Venin.
Oh, so he's like the main White Walker who sacrifices the kids or whatever.
Exactly.
In
yes.
Game of Thrones. Okay, just to draw a comparison to understand for me.
Yeah, so he is. I don't know if he's necessarily the one that creates other. No, it's not. He doesn't create Venin, but he's definitely like you said, the White Walker, the leader of the Venin. He's
essentially the one that Arya Stark stabbed. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Well, that's not true. Because if he's not creating the Venin, then he's not. What does he do then? How do Venin get made?
They pull the magic out
energy
of the
from the earth. Mm-hmm.
Who's they?
Whomever does it.
Anyone who turns anyone can turn Venin.
Okay, no. So how did Jack Barlow become Venin?
He probably drew out of the ground.
He did it by himself. You can choose to be Venin, or you have to be made Venin by a Venin.
No, you can. I think
is
you can
the Venin
choose
the
to
one
be
drawing the stuff out of the ground?
Yes.
For the person, or is the person drawing the stuff out of the ground himself?
It's like the first one.
Yeah, the person is the
first
one
brother became a Venin because he drew the power, the magic from the ground.
Okay, so you can't it's not like a vampire thing. You can't turn Venin if you get stabbed, bitten by a Venin.
Nope.
Okay.
You obliterate into little,
People are gonna think, did he even read the book? What is he even talking about? I did. Apparently, I'm a little rusty.
But I do think that Zayden called it like a fucking college or whatever for the Venin, because the one that she ended up killing that was on the back of Taryn's back.
In the box.
In the box.
Oh no! Sorry, I was thinking about
that was a different thing. That was in book 2.
Different part of the book.
When they had to go find the luminary or whatever was it?
Whenever they put him in the arena, and
I'm talking about her first encounter.
And that was when they acquired a bunch of just pissant Griffin riders they had to train, right?
Crazy fucking shit.
Thanks for killing that box thing. Take these deadbeat Griffin riders with you. Awesome. My gift to you. Bye.
But that Venin said he will tear you apart to find out this, whatever. The sage wants you. That's why we were sent here. So the sage knew or felt or sensed or something.
So there's a king daddy and his name is the sage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and then so I'm one more fan theory and I'm done with fan theories.
She is not.
Okay.
The other
just like I'm not done with Harry Potter references.
Just little old me sitting on here trying to say no, I'm kidding.
I know, she's like, God damn it, guys, focus.
It's okay.
Nolan.
It's not my podcast. I don't care.
It's like, you're the one who's gonna have to edit all this shit.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'll stop. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm teasing. So Taryn's original writer, Nolan, that's another fan theory that the sage is, because it talks about how he he saved Brennan and then died. But if he saved Brennan, they talk about not being able to save anyone from death. And then this is the only time that they did. Was it because he pulled power out of the earth to push that extra limit to pull him back from death? And also, the sage has like this mental connection with Violet where he's sending her visions, he's sending her things. If he was Taryn's previous writer, just like she can connect to Zayden through the mind, they could connect through the mind.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but they also, Taryn said that, and he would know, right? Like, he burned himself out. Like, he died from too much power. So wouldn't Taryn know if his writer, because Sigale knew when Zaddy became a Venin, and she was very protective of him.
Was it? I mean, yes, it could be because she knew because he told her, and they have a stronger connection. I don't know. It's just a fan theory. I don't. The only merit that I think I could be like, oh, I can get behind that is the connection in the mind. How is he sending her visions? How is he getting into her mind? Like, how is that fucking even happening? That's the only where I was like, okay, I could see that, because otherwise I don't know how the fuck he's.
Wait, is this what happens at the end of book 1? This character, this sage, where she's
not the end of book.
Because she gets poison stabbed, and then she's dying, and then it ends with Zayden's POV, I think. But wasn't she like talking to like some main
in her dreams and her nightmares after she wakes up? So that's what I'm wondering. Is it because is it from the poison? Even though the poison was healed, but maybe there was some sort of psychedelic.
Like the connection came from.
She has some lasting effects from being stabbed or whatever, or poisoned rather.
Yep. Huh. No. Yeah, because that should have killed her, because that was a Venin weapon. Yeah. Makes sense. So
there's. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
you're good. Go ahead.
No,
you go ahead.
Go, Steven.
I was going to talk about Varish for a second.
Fucking hated him.
Because Varish is very important to book 2, because he's the character you can't stand, and it keeps you reading. That's another reason to keep reading. I want this guy to die. He finally does die. But who are they going to replace him with in book 3? Because you need a villain.
Yeah, who we're going to hate.
This is like when King Joffrey moved on, and then what's his name? What was the next guy's name who was even freaking worse?
Starts with a B. The sausage dude.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When he cuts off the dude's wiener and he's pretending to eat it.
Why can't I think of his name? Bolton.
Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah, Ramsay Bolton. Oh my god.
Dude, he effed up.
Oh my god, Kathy, we need to watch Game of Thrones.
You haven't seen Game of Thrones, Kathy?
Not all of them. No, I didn't.
Anyway, the point is, I'm trying to make, you got to replace Varish with somebody if you want to continue this hatred of characters. He was the number one. I hated him more than I hated Jack Barlow, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
I think
he was fucking brutal.
He was the torturer, and but you love to hate that guy. It was a very good part of the story. I don't say good, but it kept you reading.
It needed.
Yeah.
So Varish,
I don't.
How did Varish die? Sorry, remind me. Oh,
wasn't it Zayden?
Or
no, Dane killed him. Dane stabbed him.
Oh. Because he came in there and he was like, that was when he did his flip. Yep. Because he was like Varish's right-hand man for a while.
Very important scene. Very important scene, because Violet allowed him into her mind, and she tried to show him every bad thing that she'd witnessed, and she just hopes that he'll take the bait and believe it, and he does, and he turns, and instead of hurting Violet, he killed. Does he? I know he stabs Varish. Does he kill Varish?
Yes.
I don't remember explicitly Varish dying.
Yes.
By Dane.
I don't know if he. I can't remember. All I know is that right after that, Zayden busts in and she's like, "Don't kill Dane."
Did Zayden finish him off then? Let me look.
Yeah, look at that, because I think Dane
can't remember
killed him.
that, but that was fucking good.
Yeah, I think Dane killed
That
I
him.
know he
so
stabbed
good.
him. I'm just trying to remember.
I think that I'm pretty close to that because where I'm at in my reread, they had just done the first
Oh, Violet killed him by shoving the dagger into his chest.
Didn't I think that Zayden held him down with his shadows? Wasn't that
Yep,
it?
that was it.
Yep.
But it wasn't. Yes, I know that's what it was. Okay, so Dane did stab him. I think I'm not reading that part. Oh,
just read it. Just read that whole thing right there.
now this is just random stuff. I'm trying to
Oh.
find the actual thing. This is Imperium.
Oh, you thought he
Is
went
that in
straight to
the? Is
the
that that's in
page in the
the?
book?
Oh yeah, that's and I don't have that
The
actual
Imperium
book.
Wiki
Wing.
is what I'm on right now.
The Imperium Wiki.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Dane, who slashed him with a dagger. Varish ended up chained to the interrogation chair by Zayden's shadows, and Violet killed him by shoving the dagger through his chest. But the point was, Dane was the initial reason that he was able to die. But I did remember correctly. It wasn't Dane that killed him. Good on me. And good on you for remembering the shadows.
Good job.
Shadow Daddy became Shadow Slayer, which makes him Shadow Daddy even more.
All right, you're cut off.
Who doesn't love the shadows?
Oh my gosh, that is a yeah. Nope. So that twist, that was a good. I wasn't expecting that. I was still on I hate Dane train until that happened, and that was the beginning of the redeeming arc.
Why did you hate Dane?
Okay, I hated Dane, and it wasn't a hate as in like I wanted him to die, but I was so fucking frustrated with the fact that he saw like over and over and over again, Violet was proving to him that she could do better.
Okay,
she
so
could
yeah,
be
back
strong.
to what you
she
said
could
earlier.
overcome.
Then. Okay, yeah.
But it was never
hate
a
is a
thing
strong
of like.
word. So I didn't know if that was a point of contention or like a memory or like a.
I didn't hate Dane. I just was always like disappointed. Like you're supposed to be her best friend, and you, and you violate her space and go in to steal her memories without permission.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's just say even if he was jealous of Zayden and he thought that he was terrible for her, but that's not his choice to make for her. That's not his choice.
No, he's trying to play the role of dad. He's trying to be her dad instead of her daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people like that. She wasn't the one who liked that. So
that is true. There's a select few. They don't talk about it because they'll get freaking burned at the stake, but that's a kink for some people.
Well, they can talk about it.
They call them trad wives. Is that what they call them?
What?
Trad wives?
I have no idea.
Sister wives? What?
No, like you never saw the trad wife thing on TikTok?
What is that?
People making fun of like traditional wives.
Oh.
I think that's what the short for traditional wives. Yeah, it was this whole thing. I cut this part out. Never mind.
No fucking way. I want to know about this now. What are you talking about?
Poor traditional wives.
I mean, I didn't dive deep into it. I just know that people were hating on trad wives on TikTok. I was just trying to draw a relevant comparison. Failed miserably. It's like when Violet tried to ride Taryn initially and she fell, but Taryn saved her. Wish somebody would save me right now, but it's not going to happen. I'm falling to the bottom. I ain't surviving this, Beth Skyeth.
We got you, Steven. Don't even
time. All the time. But I think so, like for me, I didn't hate Dane, but I was just always disappointed. Like he said that he loved her.
I didn't mean to bring up Dane again, sorry.
But he didn't. Like he ultimately didn't because he only I don't know. I mean, he wanted what was best for him and not what was best for her. Even if he felt that exactly. Even if he felt that Zayden was terrible for her, that's not his place to interfere in that.
It's true. But he did kill Varish, and his character arc is important, and I think he's going to play a more pivotal role in the next book. It just depends on whether or not people actually jump on board with him as a character, because he's fun to make fun of right now for most people.
No, I think him. Okay, so when Violet is like, okay, this is what's really going on, she starts telling everyone the truth, and she's like, you can choose to stay here, you can choose to come with us. When he chose to go with them, that was where I was done having any like negative thoughts towards Dane. I was like, okay,
he's not malicious. He's not a bad, evil
He's
person.
kind of dumb.
He's just not a good fit for her, and he probably shouldn't be a relationship in general because he has a lot of flaws. This is a character growth moment for him, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there was going to be great.
And what
didn't he like? Wasn't he? And maybe I'm just remembering or hoping or something.
And this is okay. So I love triangles.
I hate them.
That's my thing. I love them.
Threesome.
I love
you like threesome?
Different. No, the three.
I know we established this last time.
Yeah. Kathy's like, this sounds real familiar. So in book 3, in book 3, if Violet is struggling with the relationship with Zayden because now he's Venin and he's going to be pushing Violet away, that that's going to happen. And then guess who's going to come in? Zane is going to be there, the shoulder for her to cry on, because Liam's not there, because that was the other one that I was hoping for. So
I don't think so.
So you're saying
because
Dane's
I don't think she was completely pushing him away. Like she was.
I think Zayden will push her away. That's something that I don't think Zayden's going to allow her to love him.
Because there was a scene, they were in the library, if I'm remembering this correctly. I'm not there yet, so I'm completely going from memory, and it's been like however long since I've listened to this. But weren't they in the library at Basgaeth, her and Dane, and he was supporting her in her relationship with what's his face? With Zayden.
There were moments
which leads into her trusting him again, because he's like, I'm supportive of what you're doing. I'm not gonna try to sabotage it. That sets it up perfectly for book 3 now to be, we all are voting on for Dane.
We're not voting on that. No, she is.
It's similar to in my head, it's similar to the relationship that K.L. Westfall had with Selena Sardothian from Throne of Glass.
Yeah,
that was not a good, and that's why people hate K.L. because he didn't believe.
I never got on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
he didn't believe in Selena. That's the main reason people hate him. Very similar to Dane. He just wasn't a good fit for her. Mm-mm. He's a good fit for whoever he ends up with. I'm not there yet. Don't spoil it for me. But
you are not there yet.
She ends up with. I know who it's obvious.
I'm so glad
these relationships are so predictable in Sarah J. Maas book. It's going to be Irene.
Yes.
And Nahimi, what's her name? The one that he did like Nelson. What's her Neslin? What is her name? Help me out here.
What was her?
I'm bleeding out.
She's the one who
Nesrin.
Go there together.
Thank you. Nesrin. She's going to end up.
I believed in you.
She's going to end up with.
What do you mean? I was believing in you that you would think of it.
In Tower of Dawn, when she goes on her magic carpet ride with the Prince Hot Man, that's who she's going to end up with. I'm calling it right now. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Anyway, that's why I think that very similar. That was my point. The K.L. and Selena Sardothian to Dane and Violet Thorngale.
Yeah, nope. I definitely like the bad boy versus the logical boy.
Of course you do.
Of
course you do. You're a female. Yeah. You like the bad boy. I get it. On paper, you like the bad boy.
I made a few
I like
choices
the pitting them against each other. Like that's their choices. I in the 3rd book, if Dane redeems himself, I might be Team Dane. Like, let's see how it goes.
Oh, are you saying it's gonna be like a Twilight thing, like a Team Edward versus Team Jacob, and perhaps he does turn around? You know what? That's
just putting that out there.
Okay, so. Do you want to talk? I don't want to ruin whatever
we don't
navigate whatever road you're going down, but do you want to talk about?
We're pretty much done with the books.
Do you want to talk about what you're expecting from book 3? Because now you bring up a good point. Because at the end of this book, and I'll read the very ending for you in a second, because I just did, and I forgot how crazy it is. My anticipation is that Zayden is going to be working with the cockroach, Jack Barlow, trying to figure. They're going to be like navigating this whole changing themselves from White Walker, and he's going to have to rely on him for certain things. And Dane, I think, is going to snuggle up next to Violet and start something. And there may be the love triangle that you just mentioned. That's a good point.
Yep.
Can I read this last part for you?
Yeah,
I
go for
don't
it.
like
This is
that
the last
thought,
paragraph.
by the way.
I don't like it
I know,
either,
I'm
but I
sorry,
also
Kathy.
do at the same time.
No, I
It
don't.
makes for
I
some good
literally
reading.
love
do not
it.
like it at all.
It says, I'd rather die than become one of you. This is Zayden talking. Fear flavors the words because I feel it, the power beneath the college, the craving to sate the need for it. And yet you just did, Jack laughs, and the sound curdles my blood. All this time you've been convincing everyone you're the hero, and now you'll be the villain, especially in her story. Welcome to our fucked up family. Guess we're brothers now. That's how the book ends. So he's going to have to work with Jack Barlow because they're both Venin.
Yep.
And
so
during
he's
this
going to
time,
push Violet away.
yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting for Zayden because this whole time it's going to switch to his POV. He's going to be battling with the evil inside of himself, as did in that one dark window. What's his name? It wasn't evil, but she was battling with the voice in her head. He's going to be similarly battling with the evil Venin and trying to outweigh the bad with the good. Raven, thank you. No, not Raven.
Yes.
The chick
in the other book.
Elspeth.
But were you talking about the love
battling
interest?
with the monster in her mind?
Raven was battling with the nightmare. For her
I know,
attention.
but I meant like in
he's talking about.
I'm talking about
her in his mind, her mind,
in her mind. Like, but it's not the evil thing. Anyway, I'm sorry, bad analogy on my part. But I think he's gonna be battling with that evil versus good in his head, and he's gonna turn Violet off because she's not mature at all, and you're gonna have more conflict, which makes sense because he's freaking Venin. She's not gonna understand that, obviously, because she's gonna cause more drama, and she may snuggle up to Dane, and we're gonna hate both of them together and root for Zayden. And then the author's going to kill Zayden. I'm kidding. I don't think it's going to happen at all.
No, either.
But that makes. What do you think about that theory? Aside from the part that Zayden dies?
It. No,
I hate it too.
I 100%.
But it's going to happen, and I like it at the same time.
I'm throwing my hat in that ring.
Okay, put it this way. Okay, Zayden instantly gets healed, and then they just have a great relationship. This series is 5 books long. What else?
True. But so you were asking who we thought might be the replacement for Varish. I'm thinking Atos, Daddy Atos.
Okay. Has he shown signs of being that type of? I know he's not a good guy. He ratted him out. He tried to get him killed. Blah 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 blah. Is he that kind of evil though?
Well, he might be since his son turns against him.
Oh,
he might.
But you also have that story, like when the kid gets involved, suddenly the father sometimes has a change of heart.
Well, it definitely shocked me that he was as malicious as he was, because like whenever him and Soren, why do I keep calling her Sorengale? Whenever him and Violet are talking,
her last name is Sorengale.
Very chatty, and I know, but also there's 3 of them, well 4 technically. So, and then when he did his shift, yeah, I was not expecting him. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he became bitter, Daddy Atos.
Yeah.
And not good daddy, just the father Atos.
Yeah, not a good daddy.
Just daddy.
Dad. More like dad Atos. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a good one. I definitely think that the Venin, the main Venin, is the Sage, could be the next villain. The next bad guy that everyone hates.
Well, I mean, if we go with book 2,
Zayden has to
Varish wasn't
Zayden's gonna have to overthrow the Sage.
Well, Varish wasn't introduced until book 2, so there was no ideas about him in book 1, right?
No.
So this could be a brand new character. We don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because he came in.
Unfortunately,
Varish came in.
We will in a couple of days, 2 weeks.
Yeah, not long. Varish came in because he was a friend of Colonel Atos, and Atos got sent to Siberia.
Yeah, he wasn't even there for most of the book,
because he got sent to Siberia because he sent Violet into combat. I mean,
yeah. And Dumbledore sent him to.
Yeah. And Mama Sorengale,
vice commandant.
No, Mama Sorengale sent him, right?
Yeah, she sent him to Siberia.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Siberia, but that's. our modern
Oh my
day.
God. Whenever they were all on the field and it's like this side and this side are meeting to like see if we can come to an agreement on how to help each other, that was fucking awesome. I liked that a lot when it was like Mama Sorengel and all of the college professors who switched sides, and then all of the people who were still in Bezgaeth and in Navarre came, and they were like conversing, and all the dragons were behind it. I loved that setup. That was cool.
Lovely.
And then like that was the little like whisper in your ear kind of moment for the mom, and that was cool.
Yeah, and then she sacrificed herself for somebody who we haven't talked about, which is Liam's sister,
Sloane.
Sloane.
Because Sloane's signet.
Sloane Malone.
What is her signet?
Yeah.
Bitch. I have no idea. What? I forget.
Yeah, she is. She fucking hates.
Well, understandably,
violence.
because she thinks she killed Liam.
Yeah.
And then later she kind of changes it a little bit. I forget where she left off in the story. She was drained and she was gonna die, but the mom sacrifices herself instead, right, to bring up the wards. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. That was the end game, was to get the wards not to fail.
Yeah.
Because then it was like a beacon, a breeding ground for the Wyvern and Venin.
Yeah. And we still haven't defeated at this point, at the end of this book, the evil that exists, but they are safe in a sense.
For now.
Because they have the wards up, right?
Yep.
And where are they right now?
That was what she sacrificed herself.
They're not.
They're back at Bezgaeth.
Okay, they're at Bezgaeth. Okay.
That's where it ends. Is they're underneath.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They went underneath Bezgaeth.
Because all of the people from Tyrrendor came to Bezgaeth.
Dang it! I have to read these books again.
Right?
Dang it!
Because they didn't have the wards.
The other ward failed. Yep, the other ward failed. The other place got taken over, so they all booked it back to Bezgaeth.
Fuck you, and fuck you harder to his mom. He's
and then he does show up.
Yeah.
Yep, because he wasn't going to. Yeah.
I don't like Brennan.
You don't?
Really?
What?
It's not that I don't like him. It's just, how are you going to hide from your family that you're not dead? I don't hate him. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
But it was to
just
protect
the fact that
them. More secrets. Like.
Yeah, but how traumatizing is that? Oh, my brother's dead.
I know.
There's got to be a way to do it different.
At least. Yeah, no, that was hard for me too. Like, why did you make them suffer? That's like the ultimate suffering, like, being alive and them thinking you're dead. But I do see where he's coming from. I can see where he would rationalize it in his mind.
One,
yeah,
he was leading an entire movement.
Yeah,
and
But even he didn't even tell the mom, or did the mom know?
Nope.
I don't think the mom knew
Nobody
either.
Knew.
Like he was just
he changed his
lonely
name.
island out there.
Yep. Well, and so he thought that like there was no getting his mom on his side, there was no getting Mira on his side, and there was no putting Violet in danger to pull her over there. So
that was the big cliffhanger of book 1, was the fact that he was alive. The fact that he was alive, and I thought that was very interesting. I just like cliffhangers. I think they set up the next book very nicely.
Too.
And then the book 2 had an even bigger cliffhanger with Zayden being White Walker. Do you think that book 3, since there's going to be such a big span between the books, will have a substantial cliffhanger like the previous 2?
She can't help herself.
Or will it land more calm? So she
can't help herself.
Yeah, and I don't think authors can really, if people want to get mad about books taking longer to be written, they're just going to have to get happy in the pants they got mad in, because we can't force it to come out faster.
And she has other books coming out too, right? She also writes the
she's churning these things out.
Romance stuff out too.
Yeah.
Like a.
So what are your guys' theory on Andarna and her role that she will play in like these future books?
I think she'll be pivotal. I just don't know where it's going to head because we don't know much about her breed yet, right?
Yeah, no, nothing. There's nothing written on it from what she knows.
I think that she's going to be like the queen of the dragons.
She's definitely going to be the most powerful. I will say that. I think that. She'll be the most powerful dragon.
But I think that
So
her
she'll be
family
Taryn
or
times
whatever
1,000.
comes from a more within the Imperium
Ancient, yeah,
like,
more like
Oh.
leading.
leader.
Because she's technically 500 years old, unhatched.
Yes.
No, unhatched. Yeah.
Because she was waiting.
Ooh.
Yep.
How old is Taryn?
Very old.
Yeah.
That's not helpful. I need a quantity, because if he's older than her, then that with her being 500 doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Let me.
She'll ask Mr. Google.
Alexa.
Let me ask Google. There isn't much information on Taryn's age.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, he said. Well, then right here it says he's a little over 100 years old, but also that's the Imperium wiki. So
okay, well, we'll just say I think the specificity of saying Andarna waited 500 years shows that she's more important than the currently living dragons.
Yes.
Fuck, that's gonna be good.
Yeah,
gonna be good.
I'll say she'll be very important to the story, and I think we'll uncover the importance of the seventh breed. It's called the seventh. What's the name of the thing?
Purple.
The purple Gerples.
The purple Nurples. I guarantee you it's not the purple Nurples. If it is, it makes sense, but it also doesn't at the same time. What is it? It's called something. It was previously unknown, but it was revealed at the end of this book, right?
Well,
you know what?
Have the book.
Purple Nurple. She's a purple Nurple. We're going to find out more about the purple Nurples in book 3, and I'm excited about it. I think there's going to be many twists and turns for these purple Nurples.
You're welcome. Please use that on your clips. Oh, fuck. Okay, so overall theory for me is that it's going to have to revert to the three brothers and everyone's going to have to learn how to work together. I think that there's a way for the Venin to live and to coincide without sucking too much out of the ground and they're bad. And I think that the Griffin Riders and the Dragons, I think that learning to coincide together, letting the wards fall, like the overprotecting yourself is also it can be the bad thing, right? Trying to protect yourself so much from outside that can actually, So I think the wards need to fall. I think that Venin, Dragon Riders, and Griffin Riders all need to come together.
What do you think, Kathy?
Well, I think that
if I may.
You may. I think that I think that there's still going to be a huge I don't think that whole thing is going to happen until 4th or 5th book, because I think that there's going to be a civil war amongst the dragon kind, because some of them
some of them weren't down with them being bossed around by humans. There was like a divide in book 2, right?
Yeah.
I think we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. So I think that there's going to be a civil war amongst the dragon kind. And so that's where Andarna is going to come into play to be, as she grows and matures, she's going to become the queen. I really do. I think she's going to be one of the queen of the dragons.
She'll be like the dragon boss queen.
Yep.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Fire-breathing bitch queen.
Boss bitch.
That's what she's.
Oh, wait. What is that from?
I don't know.
Oh, that's from Throne of Glass.
Yes. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
Sorry, did we just spoil something for you? Forget that. You didn't hear that.
No.
Okay.
That was they're talking about Alien Galifianakis on that one, right? Alien Galifianakis is a real name.
So I think that, and I think that the struggle is going to be for Zayden. He is going to find a way to retain his humanity, even being a Venin. So I think that's going to be the struggle for him. And there, of course, there's going to be like a growth arc in their relationship. Violet and
I think the book will be less about their relationship and more about Dane and her's relationship. Now that you mentioned that, I don't see him healing.
Kathy's just gonna wink out.
I don't see them healing his sickness at all, really, in book 3.
No, I don't think so either. That's what I'm saying. I think that it's going to be growth of her coming to terms with that and
think,
not being judgmental.
I totally interrupted.
I don't think book 3 is going to be his point of view.
No, I don't think that there's going to be much.
Oh, I will. I totally think it will be.
I don't think
Zayden's point of view.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be his point of view.
Oh, okay.
Which makes me sad because I like
well now
point of views. So
now what about you, Stephen?
I think, like I said earlier, I think Zayden will be battling the good versus evil. He's going to go on some sort of journey quest with Jack Barlow, and they're going to be this. It's not a sexual relationship, obviously not enemies to lovers, but it's more like a enemies to friends. Maybe. I think Jack Barlow will probably go out, maybe sacrificing himself somehow. I'm going to say that.
Oh, to
either
save
that
Zayden.
Yeah, somehow he's going to, maybe Zayden convinces him of something and he turns good a little bit, just enough to sacrifice himself. Maybe. I definitely believe they're going to go on some sort of quest journey that's going to be switching between Violet's POV and his POV. He's definitely going to have POVs in that book, I think. Also, I think that her and Dane are going to cozy up a little bit. She's going to be apprehensive at first, and maybe Dane is as well, but something traumatic is going to happen where they find themselves in a hotel with one bed, as every book does, and then they just kind of, they snuggle, and then they start.
No, fuck
and that's
that
probably
shit.
going to happen.
That is not happening. What's
that's
wrong
probably
with you?
going to happen.
No.
I also think Dane. Let me talk. This is what I think, Kathy.
I can't.
I also think
I don't like it.
everybody's gonna. No, I also think that Dane's gonna die. I think he's gonna end up sacrificing himself and become a Liam character.
I think
he's
right.
gonna be the important person that
fine
dies.
That.
I know you are. That's what I think. Two very important stories. I think she's going to cozy up with Dane. He's going to die by sacrificing himself. And that's going to be okay that she cheated on Zaddy because now he's dead and no one's going to talk about it, right? And I think he's going to be on a quest with, I don't think she's really going to cheat, but I think there will be something romantic that the author wants you to believe is happening. Just so there's that
I think
tension.
they're going to break up. I don't think it'll be cheating if she sleeps with him. I think that they will break up.
People.
That's a good point.
Who hurt you?
That's a good point.
Like what? I feel like
life
I have,
and books. What are you talking about?
Are you not living in the same world as me?
Have you been to Earth and have you read a book?
Dude, I have had the worst.
I stay on the Disney Channel and I hang out at home.
I think that's why I have
Hang on, Stephen. We have to remember, Kathy is a romance reader. She is the happy ever after ending.
Yeah. This is not the same. I would agree with you if this was Throne of Glass or something, because that's like, or maybe not Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, because that's predictable romance in the setting of fantasy. This is not. And that's why I like this series.
This is more fantasy.
Well, it's more non-predictable. Like, you don't know who's going to die. And I hope she sticks with that idea. I want this to be like a Game of Thrones romantasy style thing, because that's rare in this genre.
What do you think about Rhiannon? Because I feel like her friends, Rhiannon, Riddick. Because
Riddick is funny.
Sawyer.
I like Riddick.
Riddick, is he the one that got his leg chopped off?
I think that was Sawyer.
Yeah, I don't think Riddick has any missing members.
Are you sure it was Sawyer? Sawyer was the one that the second year. I think it was Riddick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was Riddick.
You would know better than I. I haven't gotten
that far yet.
Middle of last year was when I finished these books.
Really? I haven't gotten that far yet, but I want to say that Riddick.
It was Sawyer.
Look at that from memory. Freaking.
No, I Googled.
And that's why you make all the big money, Randy. That's why you're the leader of this thing.
Leader of the pack. Anyway,
I like that song. So
I feel like that's also, there's going to be some interesting character arcs for Rhiannon. Is it Rhiannon? Whatever.
Rhiannon.
And
Reese. Yeah, sure.
I always call him Ryson, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So for
Sawyer and Riddick
and Oric also, because he joined the band.
Yeah.
Oric, aren't those that's what stampeded the castle in Lord of the Rings, right?
Orcs. Ugly motherfuckers. But
hey.
Oh my god.
Everybody has their type.
All right. I think we did the thing, guys. I think we.
Is that how you always end this? I think we did the thing.
I think we did the thing. No, typically I end it. All right, Steven, so where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media?
You can find me
That's
at
typically how I end the shows.
Randy's Listening Lemons Library. What is it called? Listening to Lemons while you're in the library with Randy and Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, so if we edit this just right, we could probably just cut him out of the whole fucking thing, right?
That's true. If you play your cards right, I will have never existed. Come on. You can go to...
Oh, that made me sad instantly.
Oh, well. Anyway, you can go to official Stephen Walker.
Table, Steven.
You asked me to freaking promote myself and I can't.
All right. Okay, ready? Ready?
I'm kidding.
Go.
You can go to Pornhub.com. I'm kidding. No, you can go to officialstephenwalker.com.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. officialstephenwalker.com. All my stuff is on there.
And go follow him.
officialstephenwalker.com.
But I'm going to drive all the traffic to you, so they're already going to know who I am.
Yeah, no, you're awesome. We love having you on. We'll keep you around.
This is a lot of fun. Yeah. I like chatting with you all.
It's fun. You're good people.
All right, guys. Yep. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. It's a long one, but definitely fucking worth it. And thank you for hanging out to the end if you're still here.
See you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.